everyone. I, Mona Bhatt, Vice President of TIE, welcome you for the second season of TIE Talks. After the overwhelming response of TIE Talk Season 1, how could we not bring to you Season 2? So, here we are with the TIE Talk Season 2. And today, with us for the show, we have Dr. Bhumiba Gohil with us to share a wonderful topic. The topic is COVID 19, the emergence of new innovations in teaching methods. But before she takes over, let me tell you something about her. Bhumiba is the principal of Amarjyoti Saraswati Vidhyalaya, doctorate in educational psychology. She is an educator, director of Lajja Foundation, and school ambassador of TIE. And now, welcome to the show, Bhumiba. And I would not take much of your time. I am there backstage just wanting to grab all what you tell and say what you have to share. The screen is yours, ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mona ma'am. Good evening to everybody. That was a wonderful introduction. We are all set for Thai Power Talks Season 2, and I'm glad to be a part and glad to be the first one presenting my topic here. Yes. For Season 2, on 8th June 2021, we have the most relevant topic in today's time, and that is emergence of new innovations in teaching methods. It is said that necessity is the mother of invention. But in case of pandemic, the already established inventions were robustly adapted from the corporate world to the education system. Just because an educator somewhere at the onset of the pandemic thought, how do I connect with my children? Amidst a situation wherein staying away from one another was to save their lives, amidst times when keeping children safe at their homes was a priority and their learning could not be put at stake whatsoever. I remember Theodore Roosevelt's quote here. He said, "We must all either wear out or rust out. Every one of us. My choice is to wear out." With this beautiful thought, with this determination, educators all over the world plunged into the sea of technology, which seemed to be the only aid at that moment. Yes, life is all about being able to look at the brighter side. COVID has expanded the horizons of teaching methods and learning techniques. A leap which couldn't have been possible so quickly and smoothly with such a mass exception. So, what's all that emerged as new innovation? Well, there were a few major breakthroughs. One of the most important is that boundaries of personal and professional spaces were blurred. We couldn't see hard bound boundaries of personal and professional spaces. Homes became offices, bedrooms turned into classrooms, kitchens became laboratories for demonstrating science experiments to students. And another most important aspect that creeped into is that devices became a mandatory possession, leaving behind pens, notebooks, textbooks, blackboards, everything. Each educator had to have a smart device to connect with the students. And now, the striking feature here was that the devices were once used for entertainment and leisure were now also a crucial instrument for teaching. Educators and students put gadgets for multipurpose use to bridge the gap. Gone were the days when we put signboards in our campuses, no mobile phones allowed. Well, truly speaking, we hardly realize that we are in a period of change. It is seen in history, and history has been a witness to huge transitions wherein people have seldom seen themselves as agents of change. Yet, the only concept that works in the world is change and adaptation to change. The same became applicable to digitalization of education and innovations in teaching methods. Let's proceed one by one how each innovation made its place as a unique one. What is innovation? To sum it up in just one statement, any kind of teaching which addresses creativity, applies it to methods and contents, can be called innovation in teaching. The immediate requirement at the onset of the pandemic was to deliver the course content to the students who were at a remote end. Educators used devices and their combinations to record video lectures for their students, recording videos through different apps and then posting them, making their own YouTube channels became a most useful way. Now, each subject had different demands. When it came to subjects like mathematics and accountancy that required intensive board work, educators did not fail to record their board work, use different gadgets and devices, put them in different manner, show their screens, and send the students via WhatsApp and group emails. This gave each child a freedom to learn at its own pace, yet one thing was missing, and that was the interactive element. Since long, there have been basically two types of teaching methods that we all have studied and we have come across these terminologies very well. The conventional ones, including the lecture method, the discussion method, where the teacher is at the center. Those are teacher-centric methods. And the non-conventional ones that included peer learning, problem solving, technology-based learning, which are all child-centric. Educators wouldn't have entirely adapted to these technology-based learnings if there were no COVID times. Yes, we always have had use of technology advancing into teaching methods step by step. It has paced and it has come through. We have implemented the smart classes long back. It's very interesting to note here, lot of these things which were existing since long but not given much importance in teaching are now being observed as very crucially helpful devices in today's times. Scholars say that online digital education, virtual classrooms, using technology and artificial intelligence are nothing new to us. We have been using them. We all have attended a lot of online classes, listened to podcasts, TED Talks, browsing it all the time. But we weren't expecting it that with COVID-19, this will become our only source of teaching survivals. So, it served as a buffet. Teachers took up new innovations that came to their way, shifting only from the videos to digital platforms that transformed their classroom experience in a crucial yet more interesting way. Educators using platforms today like Zoom meetings, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, Google Classrooms, Cloud Meetings, WebEx, Udemy, Coursera, and the list is long enough. There are these are our, you can say, modern day classrooms that have a range of students logged in just as a physical classroom happens to be, and simultaneously allow multiple settings just as a real time class. These are some of the most popular platforms that are used by educators, which provide a blend of tools apart from just an audio visual connection to students, such as creating videos using documents and Excel sheets. Teachers often use PowerPoint slides. They incorporate discussion forums for students. The whiteboard feature, which is striking, interactive, is incorporated in all these platforms. Apart from these, screen sharing, screen presenting, wherein the educator can display most useful content during a live class. So, how did the teaching methods change? What were the innovations? Instead of displaying on your notebook, on your blackboard, on the maps, on the walls, on the display charts, teachers are using all these platforms to connect to children in the best possible way. The use of glass boards is so interesting to look at. Any child would be lured for the love of learning, making learning for high schools graduates and all these higher education students a high profile deal. How can we forget the multiple choice quizzes with instant analysis and feedback? Teachers are now grading assignments using these platforms. They're taking exams and whatnot. To name, it's a very popular among educators. Just in case any of you have used the app Quizzes, you would know that it is lovely to see your children answer all together, comparing each other, competing with each other, and that is what an educator needs when he is or she is present at the remote end. Teachers have tried their best to adopt a flexible way of using recorded videos, live sessions, and a quiz to overcome the online delivery. One more important method, which we can call as the innovation due to COVID, is the flipped classrooms, including the mini projects, guided learning. They have found large implications during online learning. Talking about the flipped classrooms, traditionally, a lecture is delivered followed by a student practice session, but during a flipped classroom, as the name suggests, it is reversed deliberately, it is flipped. Students are given a topic by the mentor, they watch videos, research the topic, come prepared to the class again, and then have an interactive session which is followed under the guidance of the mentor. So, you're flipping the whole traditional way of delivering a lecture and teaching and learning. Students enjoy learning from hands on experience. That is all we know. And pay attention to things that give them challenges to pursue. For example, a lot of gaming companies are now into education. They have understood that putting the concepts of gaming into the goal achieving of learning will help them a lot and may provide a new learning experience to all the students. Thus, educational institutes are now marching towards a hybrid model of having a blend of online and offline deliverables. We have to keep on switching on and off. Gaming experience to talk about uses artificial intelligence is taking a giant leap. Young people, students, and children, these games give a lot of new and exciting experience when they are incorporated with the goal achieving the academics. Apart from enhancing some of the competencies in students, such as readiness to run the risk, decision making, critical thinking, persistence, and developing entrepreneurship attitudes. This entire experience gives a complex yet multifaceted nature of learning and teaching. Educators are now taking reflections from all these and creating reading materials, virtual classes, which will have a blend of these experiences to students, such as the simulation exercises given after each lecture based on different stages of learning, exercises based on different situational aspects that help problem solving. All these are now become possible in a more interactive manner through games and quizzes using artificial intelligence. How can we forget the e-learning startups emerging? And we cannot forget that they are proving very successful in these days, giving ways to enhance the current learning experience of students. For example, talk about Byju's, you talk about Vedantu, they have a range of things to offer. The child doesn't even know that he is studying while playing a game or looking through a video. Who did ever think of running an online summer camp for toddlers and preschoolers wherein a teacher would be at a remote end sitting with an ideal summer camp setup, which is not less than a cartoon movie set, giving instructions to the young enrollers who would be at the ease of their home gardens or living rooms, enjoying every bit of aspect that was rolled out. This was not possible and is now happening due to COVID 19 and due to these innovations in teaching methods. Who did ever think that a teenager attending an interactive webinar while presenting his own sets of research project to his mentor would get an approval as well as be graded on a personalized school app? These are the new innovations in teaching that are widening day by day. Who would ever have thought that a teacher could roll out online competitions assessing various aspects of the child's personality and impart value education during testing times when it was required the most? The engagement of the child from the home, which was most important at those times. So, we are now focusing on switching from a residential experience of teaching to a hybrid model of teaching, which includes giving a sense of residential learning along with the digital technology and virtual learning. Teaching methods now have become extraordinarily flexible and child-centered, with almost all information accessible at their fingertips to all the students. Teachers are playing extensive role of being mentors, allowing the best customized pathway for learning. You do not have those teaching methods wherein you have taught the class and now the class will start preparing on their own. No. You have customized pathways when it comes to remote learning, and especially it was needed during the COVID times. Many of the educational campuses have also started faculty development programs to enhance the technical skills of educators, giving hands-on experience to various software and applications, making them ready for the virtual new normal. Thus, if we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children from tomorrow. So, I would like here to sum up that all of us have introduced hand in hand new teaching methods innovatively using all these gadgets and apps and quizzing methods in such a way that we have been able to survive through this difficult times, and we have given a lot to our children, more than expected from their side or from us. Thank you, Mona ma'am.
Lovely. And after listening to you, ma'am, we as educators should be proud of ourselves for adapting this change in such a less time. So I would say that summing up your talk, ma'am, I would say
Yeah.
we talked about the initial chaos that COVID created. Educators, teachers, stakeholders all work together just to not to put the students' future at risk. And we also talked about like how textbook, blackboards, and we converted everything. We got everything at our home and on screen, be it Google Forms or Zoom classes, or you say PDFs as the question answers for them. We did everything. And I know that we found like our teachers were rushing, and okay, yes, we can do this, and this is how we can give all what the students need, what we used to give in the classroom. We tried our best to give it to their homes, just so that their studies are not put on stake. Sound, ma'am, your sound is not
Way
there.
the,
And-
just see the way the
yes, ma'am.
questions have changed. Yeah. The way that children's questions have changed. Initially, if it is a project submission, then they would ask, ma'am, how would you like to have it? Shall I give it to you in a file, or you want a
Yes.
folder, or you want a notebook? Now this is vanished. What they ask is, ma'am, PDF भेजना है, आपको email करना है, scan करके
Yes. या व्हाट्सएप कर दूं?
PDF
Yeah.
so that how assessment, the peer learning, everything has found different horizons and different methods.
So here we should be thankful to the new innovations, the technology, and most of all to our teachers who adapted to this in such a less time. And here is the first show which we put up for the season 2 with Dr. Bhumiba. I hope all the educators there watching us and who joined us for this show really took away and are proud of themselves, I should say, for getting into this emergent situation of the new innovation in teaching method, as the topic of this show says. So here is signing off with Dr. Bhumiba. Thank you, ma'am, so much for being on this show today. And with a promise for next Tuesday, we'll be back with another educator to share some views, share some insights, share some talks on Thai Talk Season 2. Bye bye.